So the Inca are the native people of the area of Peru that I went to, the Sacred Valley. So the exact date of the beginning of the Inca Empire is unknown, but what we know is that the Inca people probably settled the Cusco area around 1100 CE, and they were united by this dude, Pachacuti Inca Yupanqui, and began expanding and plundering in every direction surrounding the Cusco Valley in the early 15th century. Other emperors were Topa Inca Yupanqui and Huayna Capac. And then the empire pretty much ended when the Spanish arrived in the middle decades of the 1500s. These are all the countries that were in the Inca Empire at its height. Weaving is a really important part of Inca culture. They're very well known for their textiles, and we saw them all over the place. Their techniques are really complicated and advanced.
Esta es una lagartija, el urpi, también la llama, la flor de canto, la mujer, ¿no? El sapo.
Llamas are very important to the Inca. They use their fur for roofs and fabric, and they use their fat for candles and waterproofing things. Also, they're super cute.
So the Moray Terraces were both an advanced farming system and an astronomical observatory. So they had 4 layers: river stones, then sand, then on top of that soil, and then fertilizer, but not that kind of fertilizer. They were climate controlled, so plants that needed colder air were at the bottom and warmer plants were at the top, and then the centermost one, when it was filled with water, it showed the reflection of the stars, and people could tell by the brightness of the stars how to plan for the following farming seasons. The only way to get to Machu Picchu is by taking this train. There are no roads to the town, so as not to disrupt the nature. You have to take a special bus to the actual site once you get there. When you first walk in, you notice these huge terraces all along the mountain. These terraces were the first thing that were built there, and they stabilized the whole area and provided food, like they were how they farmed. And there's a picture of me in a trash bag standing next to them because it was raining. Today they are covered in tourists and llamas, which kind of follow you around the whole time you're there. They're so cute and adorable and fluffy, and I love them. They're all over Machu Picchu. Anyways, as you're walking along the terraces, you'll notice these stones stuck in the rock, and they were used as steps to get up to the terraces. After that, there's a granary, and notice the giant rock in the middle of it? That is an example of how the builders of Machu Picchu used a lot of the stone that was already there in their building, and that's one reason why it's also stable and survived so many earthquakes. Also, the mountain that it's built on is like a whole quarry full of rocks, so they didn't need to import any stones. Also, there was a natural water source from the mountains, and they used a hydraulic engineering system, like a water drainage system, which is why Machu Picchu never sunk. So pretty much most of the site is just walking through stone structures and along many stone walls. And the Incas used 2 types of stone when they were building. This is the rustic style, used with mortar and to build houses, but not temples.
Temples were built with this style, the imperial style, that did not use mortar. I know you're wondering, what kind of stone this is all made of?
One important structure in Machu Picchu is the Sun Temple. So these 3 steps represent the 3 different worlds of the Inca. The first one is the underworld, then the middle world like our world, and then the upper world like heaven.
big rock was already there. They built around it. The window of the Sun Temple connects the Sun Gate all the way over there on the 22nd of December, my birthday.
There's a geography. They just adapted to this natural bedrock here.
Oh, they
So
used
just
it
you just yes, you shade it, and then they adapt some others. Of course.
Yeah.
Yes, but of course, this was the place where they came and worship God.
So this tree shows how Machu Picchu used to be like completely covered with vegetation. So the whole site used to look like that, like under trees, and 50% of it is still under trees. So next we walked by this little plaza area. Some of these rocks settled here. So here's a little like amphitheater area. There actually used to be walls all around it, but they obviously fell down.
This is the Temple of the Condor. A condor is a type of bird.
Then we hiked all the way up to the guard tower, and there were some pretty amazing views from up there. Cuzco features a fascinating combination of pre-Columbian, like Inca, and European colonial architecture, often with colonial buildings built right on top of Inca ruins.
One important characteristic of colonial architecture are the arches. Inca did not know how to make arches, so that's how you know it's colonial. They loved arches.
A lot of colonial architecture in Cuzco is in the Baroque style, known for its curves and ornate carvings. This is one example of colonial Baroque architecture in Cuzco. This is the Cuzco Cathedral. It was built in 1559 and it is the most important church in Cuzco. This is the Company of Jesus Cathedral. It was built in 1576, also in the Baroque style, and its architecture was used as a model for many other churches in the area. These two towers are another characteristic of Baroque architecture. This is the Coricancha. It's another good example of the fusion of like the Inca base and a colonial building on top. It used to be the most important Inca religious site, and then a church was built right on top of it. That's what it looked like in the Inca times. Today the courtyard is framed with lots of arches, and notice the unique bell tower with ornate Baroque carvings in the traditional Cuzco style.